Can't hear you. You muted your sound.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I've unmuted. So it's 7 o'clock, but we just have two persons here, Peniel Briggs and Joy. Maybe we wait for, I don't know what's fine with you. Maybe 5 minutes, 3 minutes. What do you say for the people to join in? I mean, it's usually like this at the beginning of anything. The morale is usually very high, tempo gets really high, but then as you go on, people start to dwindle. So, with your permission, we can just hold on for 5 minutes, Mr. Tefa. Is that fine?
All right.
All right. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Peniel, Briggs, and Joy. Please, thank you for your patience. Let's just hold on for a few minutes for others to join in. Thank you, because we would like to go over the lessons today when others just join. Okay, we said 3 or 5 minutes, but I think we have quite a number and we can just go ahead without having to wait the whole time.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Welcome everyone to today's session. This is training session 13. I'm very sure that you have your pens and papers ready. If you don't have, get the writing material, get something to jot things down because as usual, Mr. Tefa is going to do justice to the topic of the day. My name is Chinatu Oji, for those who do not know, and this is also a reminder to those who are not yet following us on all our social media platforms. Follow Ecstasy TV across all social media platforms and Afro Connect TV to stay updated with what we do. Thank you, Mr. Tefa. I think the floor is yours now.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you.
Uh, Welcome, trainees, once again to another session of this wonderful training that is intended to inculcate in all of you the professionalism of carrying out your journalistic duties appropriately. We have done so much and a lot more to be done. Um, Today, we'll be looking at environmental television news reporting and how environmental future stories can be made or be done. Uh, Environmental issues are extremely important to the society. Environmental issues are extremely important to the society because of the fact that people who are into various aspects of life live in a given environment. So the environment is extremely important. It cannot be isolated from the activities that we do. All the activities that we do are carried out within an environment. It can be a school environment. It can be a community, or let's say it can be a rural environment. It can be a company environment, and it can be a forest environment, and as the case may be. Environmental factors define our existence as humans, and these factors have made a tremendous positive impact, and others have made terrible negative impact. There are a lot of issues that must be taken into consideration because the media, as I have said in the past sessions, it the media is concerned. The media organizations are concerned with making significant impact of informing, educating, and entertaining. And the media is responsible for correcting the problems or bringing solutions to the problems that are being faced. And problems can be solved by the media being the bridge to ensuring that the plight of people within a given environment is being taken to the government and made known to the public so that solutions would be provided. The training has focused on specific issues. It is not a training that has been generalized. It is not a training that is being done in a general way. There are specifics that are being treated so that you will have the skills required to handle such specifics. Because I have talked about rural uh, television coverage. I've talked about um, covering a specialized reporting. I've talked about certain areas that are of specific interest so that you will have the knowledge about handling a given situation. If you are to cover an issue, to cover an event in a particular area, what are the do's and don'ts? What are the things that you should know to apply? What are the things that you should do and not do? As today, I am focusing on the environment. There are many issues that affect the environment. The issue of indiscriminate bush burning, indiscriminate bush burning. According to agriculturists, indiscriminate bush burning affects the fertility of the soil and the soil structure and other nutrients of the soil, which affects yields, affects cultivation, cropping, affects agricultural activities. So the television, as television journalists, you are supposed to ensure that you contribute in keeping the environment better, in making the environment good, keeping it in good shape by bringing up any information or any event that pose any event that is poses as a threat to the community, the environment, any event that would project the community, will put the community at risk. So you need to actually put the necessary tools and knowledge together to ensure that the needful is being done so that any activity that would cause problem to the environment is being taken care of. By the time such uh, coverage is being done, those in charge of regulating or controlling or taking care of the environment, the environmental agencies that are in charge of handling issues like this. So by the time certain information about the environment, for instance, indiscriminate bush burning is being taken up, it can lead to enlightenment where there will be some kind of program to sensitize farmers on the need not to do certain things that will affect the fertility of the soil, will affect the nature of the soil, which would actually affect agricultural activities. Some of these activities lead to very low yield of agricultural produce because of the fact that the soil would lose its fertility, its texture, its quality, its nutrients, which will affect whatever is being cultivated. So there will be the need to enlighten or to educate those who might be involving in such activities because not everybody can afford fertilizer to actually apply to uh, their farming, to their agricultural activities. So, in order not to make issues to deteriorate, to make the soil to actually deteriorate in its fertility level, then it will be important not to indulge in indiscriminate bush burning, which will actually make things worse because some soil, have very low or poor fertility. So by the time the practice of indiscriminate bush burning is being carried out, it will make things worse, and then it will affect any agricultural activities or cultivation that might take place there. So it is important for uh, journalists to ensure that they keep the environment better. We are the custodian of informing, educating, and entertaining people. We have that as our duty as reporters, as journalists, to actually inform people who don't know, educate them. So, in this aspect, you are to take this issue very seriously and ensure that the coverage is given its needed attention so that it will reach to the appropriate body or organization. The issue of uh, deforestation, there are indiscriminate cutting down of trees. There are a lot of forest around, and then there are those who are in charge of ensuring that um, the forest is being kept in order. I think there are rangers, forest rangers, so who guard the forest and ensure that people don't go there indiscriminately to carry out activities, except if you are given the permission to do that. So the activities, when done indiscriminately, affect the environment to a great extent. That is the reason a lot of people have indulged in tree planting, and the United Nations, as well, in their climate change campaign, have also educated and informed people to actually indulge in tree planting so that it would reduce the effect of climate change as a result of the emission of the carbon, enormous carbon in the atmosphere that affects the ozone layers and other chemical composition in the air, which depletes the ozone layer and then affect the environment, makes the environment to be more heated or cooler in some areas, and also cause flooding and other natural disasters. So the environment is very important, and it is the role of reporters in this aspect, television journalists, to ensure that adequate coverage. So you are to ensure that adequate coverage of anything that will be an environmental threat is being exposed, is being put to public knowledge, so that the government too will swing into action. If there is any activity that is going on within your area, your vicinity, that you see not appropriate, then you owe your community a duty of exposing those that would be indulging in such activities that would cause problem to the environment, because some environmental disasters are man-made while some are natural. And there are some natural disasters that are being caused by man. By the time you stretch the environment, you indulge in certain activities that are not regulated, that makes the soil to be unstable or the environment to be in a state of instability, then certain environmental disaster can now happen. So people who work in certain places, or people generally are to be very careful in handling issues that are environmentally inclined. So it is the responsibility of you as reporters, television reporters, to take your camera to any place where there is an issue, where there is an activity that is not approved. Apart from the fact that there are some natural disasters that occurred on their own, then there are some that are being caused by man, like I have said. Then it is your responsibility to dig deep to know what happened that a particular natural disaster or environmental disaster occurred. If it is flood, what led to it? Could it be that drainages were not taken good care of? Or because of indiscriminate disposal of refuse in drainages that block the flow of water, and during heavy rain led to the flood that occurred and displaced people. So you should be able to actually do your interview and get the cost. So by the time you take a vox pop interview, or you take a certain professional or expert interview, you may get the side of the two sides or multiple sides of the story, because some of the residents of a given environment will tell you that the reason for this is because of the government negligence in ensuring that adequate drainage systems are being constructed, because there are some ecological funds that are being given to government to ensure that the issue of drainages are being taken care of. So if certain things are not done, it is your responsibility to ensure that you draw the attention of the government that certain areas don't have a drainage system or good drainage system or sufficient drainage system. So the issue of flood that normally happens as a result of the poor drainage system, because when a heavy rain occurred, due to the enormous water that flows through the channels that are blocked, it now outpours and then cause a lot of damage. When it goes to that level, it has to, destroy buildings, create prop tension, and leads to a lot of people to be displaced. That is why you see someone will talk about internally displaced people due to certain natural disasters. So it is important that these issues should be taken care of. By the time you cover these events, these happenings, these disasters, it will lead to a response by those who are concerned, the government, and then other international organizations, the NGOs might decide to play a role in trying to see where they can contribute. There are a lot of issues in the environment that are being taken care of by certain organizations, certain NGOs, international NGOs and local NGOs that do take care of certain things in collaboration with the government. So they see how they can make the environment clean, make the environment better, make the environment to be free of depletion, or to try to see how the emission of carbon to the atmosphere can be reduced, by taking alternative solutions or alternative options. What can be done? More trees should be planted, and then reduction in the production of carbon emission machines, and then depending more on renewable energy. So you can see solar energy has been there. They're talking about electric cars and all that. These are ways of trying to reduce the rate of emission of carbon to the atmosphere, uh, which will affect we have carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So these chemicals have a serious effect when they are emitted in a very large number. So they all have their own effect on the environment. So by putting this in place, it will actually enable those in charge to see how they can swing into action and help to reduce the effect that this issue can cause. So the issue of flood can be tackled in certain areas that poor drainage systems are there or don't have any drainage at all. So government would have to come to do that. In Makodi, the Benue State capital, during the administration of former Governor Gabriel Siswan, the drainage system that has been constructed that passes through Wurukum to River Benue was as a result of the enormous flood that actually led to serious problem in Makodi because of consistent media coverage through television. They had to do the needful, and he did the needful, and that was done. And it actually reduced the level of flood that was actually devastating some parts of Makodi, the Benue State capital. So it is very important to take these issues very seriously, because the environment belongs to all of us. Whatever affects the environment affect us all. If the environment is being destroyed, everybody will face the consequences, the effect of such destruction. If the environment is being polluted, everybody will face the effect of that pollution. And then there are other issues like noise pollution. Now, there are some places where mechanic sites are actually not supposed to be there. So it is your responsibility to give reasons why a mechanic site should actually be relocated from certain areas to a particular place where the activities can be concentrated and done. So certain places, noise pollution, constant noise can have serious effect on people. Those who are being depressed or going through some psychological problems and enormous problems can get their problems or situations can get deteriorated deteriorated by enormous noise. Noise, when the noise is too much and consistent, it affects one's health, physical health, and mental health too. Because there are certain people who, once the noise is being heard for a very long time and continuously, it affects their ability to concentrate and also to think. So people within a given environment can be interviewed and can be asked what they feel about certain activities within their vicinity, within their area. So if the need be for certain shops or certain business activities to be relocated to other sites, that is the reason some activities are being relocated. You hear that a particular government has moved certain activities to a given location because of the fact that there have been complaints or certain disasters occurred or certain effects were being felt. So the government decided that because of what has been going on, and then the media, especially television, playing a critical role in transmitting that and making it visible to the eye, making people to see the the visuals of the activities and all that, and people complaining, decided to take certain actions to actually make uh, the residents or the dwellers or the settlers of the environment to be at ease, to feel better. Then the issue of um, the issue of um, like talk about deforestation. Now, when there is deforestation, it is important to encourage planting of trees. When trees are being cut down, then other trees should also be planted as well. And then indiscriminate bush burning should be stopped or reduced so that it will not affect the fertility of the soil. And then drainage systems in the environment should be put in place, especially in residential areas where people live. The plan must be in such a way that there will be waterways will be opened so that water can pass freely to the reservoir where it's supposed to go. Once channels, water channels or waterways are being blocked, then it will be a call for disaster, to be a call for a problem, to be a call uh, for havoc. You know, during the time of Ebola, that was during former President Goodluck Ebele's administration, and then the COVID-19 during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. The media, especially television, played a very critical role because these are environmental problems because they affect the environment, they affect the health of the people. So television was very vital in giving people the information needed, the knowledge required by illustration. So people were eager to watch than to read and just see pictures. They needed motion pictures. What is happening? What are the steps needed to do to prevent getting this, to prevent being a victim? So, what are the preventive measures? What efforts uh, are being made by the government to ensure the safety of the citizenry? So television was constantly bringing this information out and giving visuals of activities and how certain researches were being carried out in various places so as to actually mitigate the effect of the pandemic, Ebola and COVID-19. So the media, television in particular, is very, very important in reporting every aspect of life. Television is very important. So in environmental reporting, it's still very important because of its special features, like I have said before in the previous session of the impact or the importance of the audiovisual, because it's made up of all a visual and audio, so you can see what happens and hear, get the sound. So it is very, very important in reporting every aspect, including environmental issues. Now, there may be issues that, it's not just reporting problems that are in the environment, it's also seeing what should be done in the environment, because there are certain environments that have natural resources. They have um, oranges, they have mangoes, they have a lot of things, agricultural produce. Then some have minerals, various types. So where any of these is found, it is your responsibility to ensure that the information is being carried out, the recordings are being done, the interviews are being made, and the experts are being interviewed on the importance of that and why uh, establishing a company or an industry in that aspect, or why investing in that will be profitable, not just to the government, but to the residents or the dwellers, settlers of that environment. So, involving in environmental reporting is very, very important. It is an aspect that should be done because there's, I think, a Ministry of Environment or Sanitation. I think there are ministries that take care of environment. So if there's anything that you want to find out, you can approach the ministry at the state level and federal level. There are certain things that they would disclose to you to know, so that you'll be able to understand how to go about certain activities. They will tell you those in charge of regulating activities in the environment in various areas. In terms of mining, who are those who are saddled with the responsibility of handling issues of mining? If you want to indulge in mining activities, which body you have to go to register? What processes are to be done? What are the effects of illegal mining? And when people are caught indulging in illegal mining, what are the consequences? What legal action that would be taken against them? How many years imprisonment would be melted on people who commit these or any offense of this nature in mining? And then you also talk about, you can ask questions about forestry, about forest, what happens in that aspect, which body is in charge of that, which organization. So you get all that is needed, because even in the environment, there are various agencies, ministries, and body organizations that are saddled with the responsibility of handling one thing or the other. We have a National Emergency Agency, I think it's NEMA, National Emergency Management Agencies. So you have all these ones, they're in charge of natural occurrence that affects people because people live in the environment. So when there is fire outbreak, it affects them. When there is flood, it affects them. When there are attacks, killings, it affects them. Crisis, it affects them. So people are part of the environment, and whatever affects the environment affects them as well. So we are all part of the environment. So whatever affects the environment affects us. So we cannot isolate ourselves from the environment and act as if what is happening to the environment is none of our business. Because if a particular contamination or chemical is being found that contaminates drinking water or well water, then anybody that takes such water may fall sick. That is why there are different types of outbreaks. Before you know, you hear about this type of outbreak, this one comes up, that comes up because of certain activities in the environment. And once that comes up, the media swing into action, trying to see how it can actually try to reduce the level of casualties that may arise from that, the level of people that may be affected, and then see how to deal with that and eliminate such outbreak completely, and then try to control so that the spread will not continue. So the media, especially television, is important in ensuring that this is being carried out. Now, a future story can be done in any aspect of the environment. You can decide to concentrate on illegal mining. What is happening that people are mining things illegally. So you can just go and meet the body in charge of regulating that, and then try to see those who are involving in that aspect, and you can interview them and then find out why they do that. So some will tell you that, well, they are doing this thing because of certain challenges, because of one thing or the other. And that is the reason certain empowerment programs or improvements are being made. Because when interviews like this are done and certain people say or express their feelings or reasons why they indulge in certain activities, the government will try to see how they can expand certain benefits or create new activities or new things that would actually be extended to certain group of people, so that the level of certain activities that are not considered okay or legal would actually be reduced. So it is important to do that. In the future story, you interview these people and then try to see the benefits of doing certain things and the consequences of doing certain things and all that, so that you will be able to give a comprehensive report why certain actions should not be indulged in, why certain activities should not be indulged in, why people should stay away from certain activities. And then if they want to do this, this is the right process to follow. These are the people to meet. These are the people to actually go to. This is where to register. And this is how the registration process is being done. So a future story can focus on a particular topic and go in depth more than just a story that is being reported briefly. So in the future story, more is being done to educate the public on certain issues, so that they would actually get the do and don'ts, and will also actually get certain processes that should be followed at all times in order to achieve what is expected. Now, environmental safety must be taken into consideration in going into environmental reporting. There are certain places that before you enter, you need to ask those who are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring safety in a given environment. For instance, Benue Cement, that is now Dangote Cement in Boko, the chief headquarters in Benue State, has certain sections that or certain compartments that you cannot just enter like that. You must put on safety kits. You must put your helmet, your protective glasses, hand gloves, overall suits, and then you wear other things to be in a position of not being affected by any chemical or emission or any infrared or whatever chemical action that might affect. So safety is being guaranteed. So you shouldn't go to any environment and try to prove that nothing will happen to you, that you can go there anyhow the way you want and then cover the event the way you want and go. Your safety is very important because you need to be alive to educate people. A dead person cannot educate, cannot inform, cannot entertain anybody. So you need to be alive to be able to inform and educate people. So whenever you go to any place to cover any environmental story, you should first try to be aware of your safety. What is it expected of you to do to be safe first before you can now be able to do the coverage? If it is an issue that concerns the river, you're going to pass through the river or the sea or a water-like area, then you should know that you need a life jacket. Your safety is paramount. You need a life jacket. We have heard of certain mishap of ships or boats in certain waters where you see of the mishap of a ship or boat being capsized and people drowning, casualties, people dying because of no life jacket. And then when you don't even know how to swim, it makes things worse. At times you may even know how to swim, but the point in which the mishap happened to the shore may also play a role because some persons cannot swim for a very long time. So once you get tired, you start drowning. So having a life jacket is very important. So as environmental reporter, you know where am I going for this assignment? What am I supposed to do at this place? What are the safety measures that should be taken to ensure that the report or the coverage is done appropriately? Because if you put your life in danger, then how do you want to get the information to pass through to the audience to be aware or to be informed or educated? So your safety is very, very important. If you are entering a laboratory where chemicals are being displayed, the specimens are being used, then you need to put on your hand gloves, you need to wear your overall suit, and then if you are expected to take certain injections or drugs, there are some places that once you have to go in, they will tell you, well, and nobody knows what may happen. You need to take particular injections or you need to take certain drugs or tablets so that your system will be immune towards anything that will happen in the course of the work or what you're doing. So you need to ask questions and be sure of what is expected of you before you go into any environmental reporting. Because once your safety is at jeopardy, your safety is not taken. Once you don't take your safety into consideration, then you would be at risk of being affected by any uh, danger that might come as a result of your negligence or ignorance. So it is important to put your safety first in reporting environmental issues. By the time the report or the information might have been obtained, depending on the kind of environmental issue that you are reporting. You need to ensure that experts in that area are being interviewed. Experts in the area of reportage must be must be interviewed. Experts, if you are reporting anything, you should, if it is something that has to do with the soil, there are soil scientists, there are environmental specialists or experts that you can interview. There are people who into forestry, who study forestry in the university and who deals in activities that has to do with the forest, who are experts in that. If you're talking about the zoo or animals, then you need to interview a zoologist, people who understand that. So they will be in a more informed position to answer your questions and tell you things the way you should know. Your questions will be answered professionally because someone who is an expert in the area will understand uh, that better than someone is just there, who never studied that in school or never practiced that for long. So by the time you don't interview people who are expert in the area of the environment you are covering, you may mislead the public because someone who is not, who doesn't have in-depth knowledge about that will not be able to give you the information that is required to take certain uh, uh, cautions or certain measures to avoid certain problems or hazard. But someone who is a professional will tell you how this can happen, what will be done that will lead to a particular thing to happen, and how, even when it happens, it can be prevented from spreading the chemicals needed or the action needed or the body language needed to be displayed in a particular area, and how you should talk, walk, or act, how you should sleep, how you should take this number of times you should take a particular drug or action, how this should be induced. So, being a professional, the person will be able to give you the by step process, step by step actions, step by step ways, so that you will have an in depth knowledge of what is expected to be done. And the exact information will be passed to, to the audience. Like I have said before, you are not supposed to wait until anything happens before you start going there to cover. In fact, if you want to be getting news every day. There are news every day, very important ones. You can go to, like I said, if you want to cover about the issue of environment, you can decide to go to the Ministry of Forestry or Environment or departments in any of the areas and conduct an interview. You can ask for locations of certain sites within the environment. What is happening there? You can go there and get your shots, interview people, ask why the site is like this. What happened? Could it be that certain illegal activities led to this? So what can the government do? What should be done? So you should try to find out if certain things are in order. If there are certain things that are not in order, maybe there could be a company that was working or a mining site that was abandoned, or there could be a kind of uh, landslide that occurred or gully erosion and so on that left certain place like that. So you try to go there, cover and let people know that this is the state of the effect of this erosion. So swift action should be done to to build certain the drainages to affect further erosion that may lead to certain houses to collapse or certain bridges to collapse or certain farmlands to be washed away. So you can go out and try to see where there are issues and cover And then where you see that these places need development, you can still cover and bring it to the public. It's not everything that the government knows until the media will bring it to the steps of the doorstep of the government. So you are to do the needful by doing these things, going to places, ensuring that you get um, stories where you see that things are not okay or things are supposed to be done in a more organized way or better ways, and they're not like that. You can put that as a story and try to do a future story about that so that you can pass it to the public and the government will be aware. And then I'll say, what happened? That this area is like this. Oh, this bridge collapsed. Oh, this erosion is very terrible. And then you see the government swinging into action, calling on the Minister or Commissioner of Environment to go and do the needful, and then approving funds for certain rehabilitation to be done. So you see, there's many action or most actions that the government take are being brought to the government by the media. So, or maybe not by the media, but because of the media's consistent pressure on the government to do the needful, the government might decide to respond. At times, some issues are being brought to the government, not really by the media, maybe by certain people who wrote to the government, uh, submitted certain proposal reports to do certain things, but they were not attended to. So the media can help to actually inform the government and make emphasis that certain things should actually be done on time or things we get worse. So television, environmental television news reporting and making future stories about the environment is very important. Once this is done, it will help to fix the environment. It will draw the attention of the government to certain issues. It will draw the attention of private organizations such as NGOs to responding, and then it will also lead to caution. You know, the people within the environment would also be cautioned that certain actions should not be exhibited within the environment, which could make things worse. So this is how far we can go for today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Tefa. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Yes, I
very
can
well.
hear you very well. All right. So thank you. I think we have some questions here that you have
Yeah,
to
yes.
attend to. Yeah. Yeah, can you see this? From Muhammad Sani.
Okay,
Okay.
Sunny, yes.
Sani, yes.
During my report
During
from
my
my
report from
environment,
my environment,
I do also
I do
face the
also face
challenge
the
of
challenge
domestic
of
crisis,
domestic crisis,
and they
and
do
they do
this
this
allowed me
allowed
to get
me to
coverage
get
news.
coverage news.
How can I
How can I
overcome
overcome the
the
challenge?
challenge?
Challenge.
All right, thank
All right,
you,
thank
Sunny,
you,
for
Sani,
that
for that
challenge of
challenge
domestic
of domestic
crisis.
crisis.
Okay,
Okay,
you know, uh, in
in
reporting
reporting
issues in
issues
areas
in areas
affected
affected
by
by
crisis, when you have a crisis around that will affect you in getting that, the police is always there, the military is always there. At times, when reporters see that certain places are crisis zone, they can go to the police or the army and say that they want to do a coverage of certain areas that are crisis zone. And in most cases, a fee may be required to be paid. At times, we decide to go and escort the reporters to the scene where the report can be covered. Because if a place is a crisis zone and any event is to be covered, it will not be appropriate for reporters to go there without security. So at times, reporters intending to go to cover an event may assemble in any security post, maybe the police or the army or other joint task force, in which once the time of the coverage reaches or once they feel it's time to go there, they go together with the escort and they're allowed to take shots and do some coverages and then maybe make a few interview before they can leave. So if a place is a crisis zone and then you know that your safety is not guaranteed, it is not necessary that you must go there. You can just get your report off the area and be able to get shots elsewhere and give credit to the shot. That is why some reports are being given, but the photos and the visuals are being credited to the source. Maybe pictures obtained from NTA or the Sun newspaper, or videos obtained from NTA or Rice TV or that, but you will be the one who will write about the story because of certain persons you have interviewed. Some interviews can be done on phone, or you can say the phone interview with some person who was a survivor, who is a survivor rather, who is a survivor of the crisis, would now tell you what actually happened. So in that situation, you can be able to put your story in shape and then make reference to the pictures or visuals obtained, as the credit will also be given appropriately.
Thank you so much. Let's take the next question from
Welcome.
Chundung. I hope I got the name correct. I hope I didn't murder that. He's saying it has been difficult to report news from government institutions. I was opportune to have an information on the issue of flood that might happen when I tried getting more of it from some members of. I
Okay.
don't think you completed your questions. Your question rather.
Okay. Yeah, from what I've seen, I know what she is trying to ask. That it has been difficult to report news
Okay.
from
I've seen the
government
complete
institutions.
question.
I was opportune to have that. Okay. Um, if you want to report anything concerning from government institution, the only thing is to go there and identify yourself as a reporter. So I think the human resource person was talking about issuing identity cards to the trainees. I don't know when that will be done because there are places that you can't go without proper identification. So once you have, maybe the difficulty you face was because of a lack of identity or proper identification. You need to have an ID card to indicate that you are working with a media organization so that they will believe you are really a journalist and not a spy. So some places, once you don't have identity card, you won't be allowed to enter or you won't be given the permission to access the premises. So it could be that because of that, you could not get what you really wanted. So I think something would actually be done in that regard to provide identity cards. Maybe by the time the training might have been completed and certified to be worthy, I think certain provisions will be made so that the coverage will go to the next level. Yes, I've
Thank
seen they demanded for my ID card since their WhatsApp. Okay, yes, I've seen that, Chundum. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So ID cards are important. So maybe by the time the training gets to a certain level, they may be provided.
All right. Have we taken this question from Muhammad?
Okay, I do report news from my environment, but the difficult I do encounter is no reality and authentication. All right, thank you, Sandra. understanding. You see, the issue about environment is something that you have to actually be there. Once you go to an environment and then you have your camera, you are able to video what is going on, and then you are able to interview people. What authentication that is required again? Because once people see what is happening, see if it is as a result of poor drainage system or flooding or fire or any other environmental hazard. Once people see the visuals, they see what is happening and hear from people within the environment talk, and then an expert also speak, then the story will be believed, will be taken as an accurate story. So in that regard, you'll be able to get what is required. But when an information about the environment is being said and nobody sees anything, nobody knows what is going on, there are no still pictures to support the story that is actually reported. So that would help the audience to believe the story more.
All right, let's see the next question.
Please, I have a question. This may not be in line with the discussion tonight, but can we gather information in our neighborhood whenever we see anything that is worth reporting without? Okay, thank you, Samuel, for the question. When this session began, I talked about newsworthy stories. There are stories that are not newsworthy, and then there are some stories that are newsworthy. And then even in the arrangement of stories, I talked about the pyramid style, the inverted pyramid, which means stories are being arranged in order of importance, the most important to the least important. That is the inverted pyramid that is being used in arranging stories or bulletin. So if there are events that happened in the neighborhood that are newsworthy, you can gather them and bring them to three-piece media and forward them to three-piece media to be packaged for transmission. But you cannot just see neighbors fighting and then you want to cover that as news, not newsworthy. Actually, maybe two neighbors just fighting within your environment, maybe husband and wife fighting, uh, and you want to cover the fight, the husband and wife fighting over transport money or over lack of funds to do one or two things. So those ones are not issues to be actually covered. But when someone is being beaten to coma, someone is being beaten to death, someone is being hacked, or when an issue like that happen, then it becomes news because it will make others not to do that to their spouse, to their partner. So it becomes news. But normal disagreements, quarrel, and slight fights can be covered. So it depends on the activity within the neighborhood. It is something that is strange or something that don't happen on regular basis. Is it what is of importance that happen within the neighborhood that should be covered? So if it is a newsworthy issue, and then it also depends on the personality involved in the story, because there are certain personalities that when they involve in a story, it becomes extremely newsworthy. And then there are some activities that someone who is not known would do, and it won't be actually any news. But someone who is popular, once the person does the same thing, it becomes news, and everybody will want to read that. People have been slapping people, beating people, but once a prominent person does that, a politician, an artist, or that does that, it becomes news. But not everybody that fight that you cover. But if prominent people fight, politicians fight, and then some persons fight, it becomes news. So that is it. Okay.
We have question
You
from
know,
Luna.
okay, must the identity card be from three piece media? Well, because I believe some persons are students who are here, and then some are actually staff of different um, places or agencies. But if you are a student in communication and then you are going to do that, journalism is a field that is treated in a manner that you need to identify yourself as a reporter. Because there are some places that if you like having your other identity card, once you are not a reporter, you won't be allowed. You need to have an identity card to show that you are uh, you 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 are a press person, you are a reporter, you are a journalist. But if you have any ID card for now that can permit your you can be given permission to enter any premises to cover any event, it's okay. But I think a three-piece media will definitely do something about the identification issue, like it was said earlier, because you are working for or will be working for three-piece media. So they will be in charge of the identification issues so that once the training is completed and you fully on ground, that will actually take place. Those of us who have identity cards from other media ventures, can we use that for the main time? Okay, that's fine. If you have identity card for other media ventures and you want to use it for the main time, fine. Well, there are issues about this coverage, because when you go to cover an event, at times the media houses are being recorded or taken into consideration. They will say, okay, this particular media house attended. There will be a list of a documented list of the media organization that went or attended a particular event or covered a particular event. So if you are going there to cover an event for three-piece media or uh, yes, three-piece media, and then you're presenting an identity card for another media organization, and then you're being documented as, so you can say you are coming for three-piece media, and then you have a different identification for that. But the whole thing depends on the kind of event, because most government events, the media organizations or houses that attend are being taken into consideration. So the people that attend will be the media organization that attend will be taken into consideration. So when it comes to that situation, it becomes a little problem. But for now, at least I think three-piece media will do something in the near future. So for now, whatever is available that can make information ready to be used for uh, news coverage, I think it can go with that.
Thank you, Mr. Tefa. I'm very sure that everyone here is satisfied with the responses you've given to the questions. You've done justice. Thank you. I see everybody commenting and saying they appreciate you, they thank you, they enjoyed themselves, and of course, I learned from my end. So I'd just like to say that if you've started writing stories, you can send to us so we can air it and give credit to you. Because I mean, by now we expect that we start seeing the evidence of all of these teachings of Mr. Tefa. So well done, everyone, and we'll see you again on Saturday. Thank you once more, Mr. Tefa. Well done, and have a good night.
Thank you.